connect with like-minded AHK users in our private chat, helping each other out and sparking ideas that make scripting way more fun. Get inspired by seeing fellow heroes apply AHK in everyday wins. The shared stories alone make membership a no-brainer. Off, let's talk about we have a new client, which also I think next week will be the title, but he joined the Hero Club. He's actually working right now, so I don't think he's going to be joining us. But ironically, his name is Ron Swanson, which is hilarious because if you watch Parks and Recs, you know who that is.
Yeah.
It's his real name, right? Really
Uh,
interesting guy. But he had a project for us where he was like, hey. He's like he's a developer and programmer and IT guy. He understands, but doesn't want to learn AUTOHOTKEY. So he asked us for some help, and we he was going to a website, and the first thing that he came to us to was he goes to a website and he has to first log in, of course, go to the website, search for a part number. When it comes up, he wants to change it from, let's say, active to inactive, right? And
yeah.
and then hit apply and then go to the next one. Well, we weren't sure. I know he mentioned it a couple times, but it was roughly he had like 30,000 part numbers.
Ooh.
So we first, of course, clarified, do you are you going to run are you giving this to other people or are you running your own computer? Or at the bare minimum, is everyone's going to run this? Are they admins on their computers? And thankfully, it was easy conversation because he's a programmer, right? He understood all this stuff, terminology. And so he was like, yeah, it's no problem having an admin. I'm running it. Maybe he'd give it to someone, but the other admins. And so we said, hey, given the fact you're logging into a site, we recommended Rifadium. And we said also, this at the beginning of the conversation, it sounded like he had like a couple hundred to do. So we were going to manipulate the GUI. And then I said, like, hey, well, how many do you have? And it turned out he had a huge amount. And that's where I said, look, we always try to avoid manipulating a GUI if we can, right? It's just
Yes.
a very slow approach for automating something if you can avoid it. So we spent a little bit, like 15, 20 minutes, and saw we could get the cookies, we could trigger um, the actual action happening using an API call. And so he was like, "Ooh, yeah, okay, that sounds promising." And we were like, "It's far more reliable and be faster and easier." So let me see. I wrote down, we were estimating. So we created a couple. And actually, after we did that one, he came back. He's like, boy, people got really excited about this. So we had two more to make, and we cranked those out. But for that first example, if someone was doing it, and we were being conservative to manually, not logging in, but just to change the status, it's probably
Yeah.
around 25 seconds if you're focused, right, to do it. And
Yeah.
and I'm even, because I forget the exact number, but I said with 20,000 of those, that is 139 hours, right, of straight work
Wow.
over 3 weeks, right?
Yeah.
In our approach, we were sleeping it because it's a public site we're going to. We're worried about
Yeah.
hammering it, but we made it go take 3 seconds, which would take 17 hours. But of course, you hit run and it just goes and does it, right? So
Right.
it was a really cool. Back to your point, Isaias, of like I need to put a bar graph showing the two, right? As it,
Right. And whether it's slow
yeah,
compared to another language.
yeah.
Well, am I gonna save 3 weeks and do it in one day? Well, then it is not slow. It's okay. Yeah, right. Now you need it faster than that. I don't know, video and audio processing and probably NASA stuff and hospital stuff are the only things that I would say you need, enormous amounts of speed, game engines, stuff like that. Most of the tasks of your day to day, I don't think you need like amazing speed. And actually, Joe, if you change that sleep from 3 seconds to 2 seconds, you already saved like 5 hours. Like it's really weird, right?
Yeah.
So I would definitely never say, oh, just because it's slow, don't do it. The other way around. It is the amount of time that you take in programming. And actually, Nick, just mentioned something that is really true. I programmed in about 25 programming languages, and I have one observation. All languages are faster than my brains, but my brain is more general than every programming language, right? So, and I tend to agree with that. I would say when you say that your brain is more general than the programming language, the programming language is not what is generalized. It would be the program itself, but certain.
Explore our huge library of 466 plus hours of recorded AHK tutorials. Watch, rewind, and master tricks at your own pace. Grab 25% off all our AHK goodies, courses, scripts, and custom work so you save cash while building your toolkit like a boss.